Thank you to Typhur for sponsoring this incredible recipe video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to use the Typhur air fryer dome to make the best chicken I've ever eaten. So let's sharpen up the knives. Let's get ready. We're going to do Chris Cookin' Nashville's Roadkill Chicken. You guys do not want to miss this. This is going to be great. All right, before we start cooking this chicken, I want to show you the Typhur air fryer dome. This is an incredible air fryer from our friends at Typhur. You've probably seen my sous vide video, also sponsored by Typhur. I'll link that down below. Sporting 2 times the cooking space because of the massive drawer inside of this Typhur air fryer, and 30% faster cooking because of the dome air fry technology. The Typhur air fryer dome is an incredible piece of kitchen gear. This beautiful waffle pattern drawer is not only dishwasher safe, but it's also extremely convenient for air frying, and you're going to see just how good of a job this does on this chicken in a minute. I also love this little handle right here because this drawer has this waffle pattern insert which is actually held firmly in there, and you can see here on the side where these rubber grips actually grab on to the sides of the drawer. This keeps this stable when cooking, but this handle is very convenient for pulling this out when it's time to clean, and you can just throw everything right in the dishwasher. You can see this one just came out and it got nice and clean. We're going to slide this drawer back in. This is very stable on the counter, so opening and shutting the air fryer is extremely easy. This is not going to slide around on your counter. And look how beautiful the Typhur looks sitting on the countertop. It is a sleek, space-age looking piece of gear, and man, let me show you the features that make it such a great piece of equipment. The touchscreen panel and bright LEDs on the front panel of this are super easy to read. You can see it has fries, wings, steak, bacon, and frozen presets, as well as some different functionalities: air fry, roast, broil, toast, and dehydrate. It is a convenient touchscreen that is extremely responsive, and it's very simple to use. And you can see all of these different presets have their own temperature and recommended time, but you can also customize this with the up and down buttons on both temperature and time. And once you've selected your time and temperature, we can press play, and it immediately starts running the air fryer, which is whisper quiet, mind you. This is the quietest air fryer I've ever used. And if you want to pause, you can also just hit that button again to pause or to stop cooking anytime you need to. Something else that makes this Typhur amazing is this app. I'm going to show you on my phone exactly what we can do here. When you open up the Typhur app, you can see there are all these different recipes based on the different devices that they have. Now, I have both the sous vide and the dome air fryer, so you can see I have both of those devices on there. We're going to go ahead and go to my air fryer, which I have named Eve, and we're going to open the app. You can see it is online and connected, and we can choose all of the same modes and presets from the app. I'm going to go in here and show you the different ones. You choose whatever it is you like, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and press set. You can set your target temperature, you can set your time. All of this is customizable from the app, and what's even better is you can actually adjust this while it is cooking. So if you want it to run longer, you want to change the temperature, you want to change the time, whatever it is you want to do, you can do all of this within the app, both ahead of time and while it is actually cooking. This is extremely easy to use. It is one of the most user-friendly and simple apps I've ever used. You can go ahead and set this. You press set on the actual app, and it tells you to press start on the actual device. Couldn't be easier. Then the app will count down and notify you when your cooking is complete, so you know it's time to enjoy your amazing dinner from the Typhur Dome air fryer. But perhaps one of my favorite functions is this self-cleaning deep clean setting. Air fryers can get a little bit greasy, but this one, all you have to do is press deep clean, set it. It will run for 120 minutes, and it will self-clean all of that grease that tends to get up in the fan of an air fryer. Makes it super easy to maintain. Man, is this thing amazing. There's also an entire category-based library of apps that you can use for both the sous vide and the dome air fryer. You can scroll through them. They have beautiful pictures of what the recipe is going to look like. Extremely easy to follow instructions, and even better, you can actually create the little heart button there in the right-hand corner to favorite all of the recipes you want to be able to return to. So you can check it out. It shows you servings, time, difficulty, prep time, and everything is in written instructions. It's very easy to use. Save your favorites, repeat them again and again. This air fryer is an absolute game changer for anyone in the kitchen. It is the best working air fryer I've ever used, and now it's time to show you what this thing can do with a little bit of Chris Cooking Nashville ingenuity added in. Let's make some air fryer roadkill chicken. You guys do not want to miss this recipe because it is mouth-watering, and it had me and Ash both begging for seconds. All right, we're going to get fancy in French today. We are going to debone an entire chicken. I have already trimmed off the little bits and set them aside. We can use those to make our bone broth later. Make sure you pay attention because this is a great technique. So the first thing I'm going to do is dry the skin of the chicken very well with paper towel just to make this easier to hang on to. Now the goal here is to take all the bones out and keep the chicken in one piece. This is a really useful technique and is used to make a galantine or a ballantine in French cooking, which is a rolled stuffed chicken. But we're going to use this to make roadkill chicken, but we need to get all of the bones out without cutting the skin or any of the pieces of the chicken apart. So there are 4 places we're going to have to cut: the shoulders and the hip joints, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. So we need to find the back of the chicken. This is the spine that runs down the back. We're going to be making a slice through there to open the chicken up. And of course, here on the front, this is where our breast meat sits. We're going to be peeling the carcass away from that. Then we have the 2 legs and the 2 wings, which are the 4 places we're going to have to make cuts through joint. Step number 1, we're going to take the first half of the wing right here where the articulation happens. So if you take the wing and you bend it back and forth, we're going to leave this shoulder joint, but where this articulation happens on the front half of the wing, that we're going to remove. So right there where the bend is happening next to my finger, that's where the joint comes together. That's where we're going to cut through. Put your knife down into the joint, wiggle it around a little bit. You'll find the empty spot between the 2 bones, and you'll be able to slice right through. Now we're going to flip the chicken around. Remember, make the chicken work for you, not the other way around. And we're going to do the same thing to the second wing. So right there where it bends, wiggle the knife into the joint and slice through. Now we're going to very quickly make chicken lollipops with these wings by finding the top joint. We're going to go sideways to break that joint. Put your thumbs behind those small bones and pull, and those bones will pop through the skin just like that. Then we just slice through the open part of the skin to take off that wingtip. There are 2 bones sticking through the skin. We're just going to grab the small one and twist to pull it straight out. Now we're just going to push the rest of the meat and skin down to the base of that second bone, invert it, and it turns it into a little chicken lollipop. This will be air fried along with the rest of the chicken. Don't forget to save all your bones and trimmings in a bowl. We're going to use this to roast and make bone broth later. So we're going to do the same thing with the other wing, right where it bends. We're going to break it sideways. Use your thumb on top to trap the bones, grab the wingtip and pull to push the bones through the skin. Slice through the skin to remove the wingtip. Now there are 2 bones, a large one and a small one. Grab that small one, twist it, and pull it straight out. Invert the rest of the meat and the skin to turn it into a chicken lollipop. Now we can deal with the rest of our chicken. This is the backbone. We're going to take a nice sharp knife, turn our chicken around, and we're going to slice right through the skin down on top of that backbone, all the way down just like that, so we can fold the chicken open. Now to detach the chicken, there's very few places we need to cut, but we're going to be cutting these 2 shoulder joints right here and the 2 thigh joints down here at the bottom. We also need to cut out the wishbone, which is the V-shaped bone right here where the breast and back are coming together. So you can stick your thumbs in this part of the chicken. You can actually feel the wishbone run right here underneath of the breast meat. All we need to do is make a slice on the side of each side of it, and then we can stick our hand in there and actually pry the wishbone out. And it will very often be broken and come out in 2 pieces. Next, we're going to find the shoulder joint, which is right here. We can see it articulating. We need to take our knife and slice right through that opening of that joint just to separate it. And we're going to repeat this with the other shoulder joint as well. Then we're going to grab the wing and the carcass, and we're going to peel downwards. You're going to look for the oyster back here against the spine. So we just peel downwards just like that, pulling away from the carcass, which is in my right hand, using the wing and the meat in the left hand, and boom, right there is the oyster. Once that is exposed, that's far enough. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side because that little piece of meat right there sits right next to the hip. So once the oyster is exposed, we've gone far enough. So just pull down, peel away from the carcass, and you can see the oyster is right there next to the hip. Now, don't worry about the tenderloins right now. We're going to get those in a moment. So we're going to grab the front of the carcass, put your fingers down in front of the tenderloins behind the breast meat, and you can peel the rest of the breast forward off of the carcass. Just peel it down, use your fingers to pull it back, just like taking its pajamas off. Now we're going to take the knife and cut behind the oyster against the spine. We're going to remove that oyster from the spine on both sides, and then we can cut through the hip joints, which are the only two other joints connecting the chicken to the carcass. Once the oyster is removed, find your hip joint right here. You can see where it's articulating. We're going to need to cut through that joint right there and right there. The carcass is still held on by those two joints, so all we're going to do is take the hip and we're going to bend it upwards. So we're going to push forwards, grab the leg, push forwards like this, and then peel backwards to break out that hip joint, and you'll see that bone. You can cut through the sinews right there, being careful not to cut through the skin, and that will separate the hip joint from the carcass. You can see it comes apart right there. We do the same thing on the other side, go up and forward, and then break out that hip joint. There's the end of the hip bone. You can see this one really clearly. All we need to do is cut through that little bit of connective tissue that's right next to it. That will detach both of the hips from the carcass. Once the hips are detached, you just grab the carcass and grab the skin, pull the carcass away and free, and peel the last bit of that meat away from the carcass. Now the biggest portion of the job is done, and we have an almost completely deboned chicken with the exception of the legs and a couple wing bones. Now we're going to very simply and quickly remove these tenderloins off of the carcass. This is the last piece of the breast meat. This is simple. Take your thumb, stick it between the tenderloin and that cartilage of the breastbone, stick your thumb underneath, and just slide your thumb down along the bone, and it's going to force that tenderloin to peel away from the breastbone. So just slide your thumb down, peel that tenderloin off. No knife is needed. And there is our carcass free and clear that goes into the bowl to be turned into bone broth. So now we have 2 chicken lollipops, we have 2 chicken tenderloins, and we have the rest of our whole chicken, which needs to have the last bones taken out. So we're going to use a small paring knife. We're going to find the end of the thigh bone right here, this bone that we exposed. We're going to just cut around that just so we can get a good clean grip. And then we're going to use this knife and start scraping down sideways. This is called Frenching a bone. We're just going to carefully scrape down the thigh bone until we get to the next joint. So go all the way around, scrape all the meat down the bone until we get to that next joint that connects to the leg bone. And here you can see is the next articulation where that joint comes together. We're just going to take our knife and carefully cut around that. We're going to go out, around, down, back to the leg bone, cut as little meat away as possible, just around the edges of that articulation so that we can grab the next part of the bone and scrape down the exact same way on the leg as we did the thigh. So once we get to this point, this is that ankle joint, that little knuckle end of the bone. We're going to push this back through because we don't want to cut through that just yet, because if we do, the skin is going to shrink away as it cooks. So we're just going to invert this back out, and we're going to use a heavy kitchen knife on the dull side, and we're going to whack and break that bone so that we can bend that, and then we can grab the thigh and leg bone, and it will pull straight out. Then we just revert the leg back to its original position with the thigh, and it is totally deboned with the exception of that one little piece, and we'll take care of that after cooking. Now we just got to do the same thing to the other side, free up the other leg, and continue. The last bones are these extra wing bones, and these are probably the easiest to take care of. So we're just going to find that joint, stand it up on its tip, and then we're going to just cut a tiny little bit just around the very top of that bone, and then use the cutting board to push the meat against it straight down right off of the bone, and then pull the bone straight out. Now all we need to do is do the same thing to the wing on the other side, cut around, push down, pull the bone straight out, and we have a completely deboned and yet still in one piece chicken. Now, the last thing we need to take out of this is the sinews of these little tenderloins. You can see these little white sinews that are chewy and no good. Watch how easy this is. We're going to take a towel and hold that sinew down against the cutting board. We're going to use our knife, and we're just going to gently scrape forward to scrape that meat free of the sinew, just like this. Okay, I'll show you that again. So we're going to grab that sinew, hold it really good and tight using a kitchen towel. Use the knife to slide along the sinew and scrape it free. Now the big secret here to making this juicy is to dry brine. So we're going to take these tenderloins, I'm just going to stick them in between the breast meat and the thigh so that they're held in place, and we're going to dry brine this in the refrigerator. Always make sure to wash your hands well after handling raw chicken. So we have our freshly deboned chicken, and we have salt. We're going to use salt to dry brine our chicken. Season this on both sides and then put this on a rack in a refrigerator to dry out. We're going to season this as if we were going to eat it. So salt is to taste. Salt this however much you would like to salt chicken. If you were going to immediately cook it and eat it, make sure to get a good even coating on both sides. Another nice thing about having the legs deboned is we can actually salt down inside of those leg cavities a little bit and season that meat all the way through. Now I'm just going to flip the chicken over and salt the skin side as well. Now as the chicken is dry brining, this salt is going to draw some moisture out of the meat, which the refrigerator will then dry up because this will be in the refrigerator uncovered. It's also going to help the skin get dry so that it gets nice and crispy, and the salt is going to penetrate all the way through the meat so your chicken will be seasoned all the way through. Another bonus effect of this is it will tenderize the meat and keep it super juicy while cooking. Now I'm just going to place it uncovered on this refrigerator rack. I'll add my chicken tenderloins and my chicken lollipops, all of which have been also seasoned. And this goes into the refrigerator. And if you haven't seen my video on this Califort little mini fridge, which has now become my dry brining chamber for meat, I'll make sure to link that below, because what a cool thing for you guys to have so you can do things like this easily without taking up space in your regular refrigerator. Now this is 24 hours later, and I roasted that chicken carcass rubbed with beef fat at 475 degrees for 45 minutes. And now I'm going to put this into a pressure cooker, barely cover the bones with water, and pressure cook on high for 2 hours to make an incredible chicken bone broth. Once that pressure cooking is done, we have a beautiful roasted chicken bone broth. We're going to strain out the solids, save this to make our sauce. And right on cue, my sous chef is convinced it's snack time. All right, it's time for the good part. Let's take this chicken out of the refrigerator after it has dry brined for 24 hours. You can see it is starting to look a little bit drier on the surface, and it's going to be a little tacky to the touch. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to lay this on a cookie sheet so we can get the final seasoning mixture on our chicken. You can season this however you want, but my wife opted for garlic, black pepper, and some paprika. We're going to start with the skin side, add seasonings to your liking, to your taste, whichever ones you like. But we're going to do this starting on the skin side, and then we'll flip it over and put it on the meat side as well. Now we're going to turn on the Typhur air fryer dome, and you're about to see how incredible of a job this does. I'm going to put it on the air fry setting. I'm going to turn it to the max temperature, and I'm going to run it for about 4 minutes because I want to preheat that basket so that it's nice and hot. So when I set the chicken down against it, it starts to sizzle. Now we're going to take our preheated air fryer basket out, and we're going to grab our flattened roadkill deboned chicken, lay it skin side down, and you're going to hear it. We're going to put the tenderloins in between the breast and the thigh the same way we had them before so that they don't overcook. And we're going to add our chicken lollipops, and those are going to get nice and crispy as well. Now you can really see the size of this air fryer with that whole chicken, so we're going to slide it back in. We're going to set this to the air fry function, and we're going to set it at 360 degrees for 30 minutes. After 15 minutes has passed, we'll come back and we'll flip the chicken over. This will work in any air fryer, but you may have to finagle the way the chicken fits or the time. After 15 minutes, we're going to pull this out. The air fryer will pause automatically. Man, that's starting to look good. Now we're just going to flip the chicken over skin side up. We're going to go ahead, add this back into the air fryer and let it cook that additional 15 minutes that was still on the timer. This is some of that bone broth that I cooked down, concentrated it with a little bit of splash of lemon juice. This is going to be an amazing sauce. Once that extra 15 minutes is up, we can go ahead and pull this out. Now it's almost done. It looks amazing, but we're not quite there. I'm going to slide this back in one more time. I'm going to set this on air fry again, but I'm going to put this at the highest temperature for 4 minutes. This is just going to help to crisp up the skin on the outside, get this absolutely amazing and ready to go. When the 4 minutes is up, we can pull out our completed Roadkill Chicken. Looks like it's been run over like a pancake, but it's totally bone-free and ready to go. And look at those beautiful crispy chicken lollipops and that amazing roast skin. All we need to do is plate it up, add some sauce, give it a taste, and enjoy.
Well, hello. You come here often?
Every day it seems.
Lovely.
All right, y'all, as you can see, the Typhur air fryer did an incredible job on this chicken.
Yes.
So, your first time having Roadkill Chicken.
Yeah. I'm excired though.
Yeah.
When you said you were making Roadkill Chicken, I didn't know if that meant you were like gonna go find a chicken that was ran over and throw it on a plate and just give it to me. But
That's right.
I was like, you know what? This looks a lot prettier though.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, this is taken from some influence of amazing French chefs, specifically Jacques Pepin. I learned the deboning technique for this from him. Also, I took inspiration for doing this from Alex, French guy cooking, because he has taken some Jacques Pepin recipes and done some videos with them, and so I took some inspiration from that. So if you guys would do me a favor, go find Alex, French guy cooking, on either YouTube or Instagram, or if you can find him on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, and tell him about the Chris Cooking Nashville channel and that I did a shout out for him for inspiring me to try to do this kind of stuff. Maybe we'll get to do a collaboration video or something with him someday. That would be really incredible. So go say hello to him, tell him Chris Cooking Nashville sent you, and that he should hit me up. Hit me up, Alex. We'd love to chat with you, buddy. But love his channel. So major shout out to him. Let's go ahead and take this beautiful Roadkill Chicken with the French technique of deboning this from Jacques Pepin, and let's see what you think.
I'm so excited. I don't even know where to start. And I have to say, for starters, it looks so pretty.
It does.
It looks literally like something out of a magazine or something I would have eaten like in a really fancy restaurant.
So this is all of the dark meat, the leg and the thigh. This is the breast, and then you have your little wing lollipop over there.
I want to start with the breast first because I feel like the breast is always like, you know,
the breast is usually drier, yeah.
So I feel like that would give me a good point. Let's see. Christopher Chandelau. What?
That is an amazing chicken.
Oh my gosh. That is like, it's seriously so good.
It's super tender. It's extremely juicy. That Typhur air fryer is unbelievable.
I love how crispy the skin is, yet when you actually get to the meat, and I'm on the chicken breast too, so I'm on the drier part of the meat.
Right.
How tender and how moist the meat is. I mean, underneath that crispy skin.
It's the best chicken I've ever eaten.
Yes. I would hands down agree. Props to you though, because the seasoning is incredible. And the sauce.
And you get all the collagen from making the bone broth. So you get all of the good benefits of that kind of stuff. And it's a great way to use the carcass of the chicken and all the bones that you've taken out, which you would otherwise throw away. That's why chefs do things like make stocks, like sauces and stocks. That's what they do with that, is all the trimmings.
I also have to say, this is really easy and enjoyable to eat without any bones in it. I'll pick up a whole chicken and just eat around the bones. I'm not worried about being ladylike. But having the like no bones in it is actually very enjoyable. I'm gonna go over here and do some of the dark meat now.
Go for
because that was so good.
It's literally dripping with juice when you cut it.
Yes,
like,
it is dripping with juice.
It's dripping.
It's dripping with juice. It's super delicious. This is seriously probably like the best chicken I've ever had.
I've never been in a fancy French restaurant, but I bet anything, this would be worthy of a menu there.
Yeah, I mean, I would pay to have this again. I'd probably pay a lot of money to have this again because it's seriously that good. I really love the way it's cooked. I love the seasoning. And that air fryer did an incredible job too.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get over how well cooked this is.
And don't forget your little
crispy.
chicken lollipops we have here to try.
If this is Roadkill Chicken, can we call these wing nuts?
Yes.
Okay, wing nuts. Is it good?
Roadkill Chicken, it's unbelievable. It's like the best chicken wing you'll ever eat. How good is that?
That's some tasty goodness right there. I can't get over how crispy the skin is, or then the meat inside is just so tender and juicy.
Yeah.
Melts in your mouth, and it's like it's dark and it's crispy, perfectly cooked. As someone who does not really enjoy cooking, when you do things like dry brine meats, you know, a day or two ahead of time and all the different things, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wonder how big of a difference that will make. And then I taste it and I'm like, oh, that made a big difference. Like, it's definitely worth the time and the effort, I think.
Yeah.
Best chicken I've ever had. I'm very proud of you. You did a really good job. You can make this for me again anytime you want. Anytime you just feel the need, you can make this for me.
When they're on sale, I can get a whole chicken for like $4 or $5. It's crazy.
Love meat. I'm all for it. We've owned too like a bunch of different air fryers over the years.
Right.
This is by far the best one.
Oh, beyond.
Hands down.
Beyond what any
Hands
of the
down.
others can do.
Hands down.
It's more stable. It cooks more evenly. It's unbelievable. I figured it would be good because the Typhur Sousvide is amazing. I'll link that down below if you guys haven't seen that. The Typhur air fryer is unbelievable, and I'm so happy to use this thing.
The fact that you could literally put a whole chicken flat in the air fryer.
It's amazing.
And you cooked it all at one time, and then it came out this well cooked.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's amazing.
That's
and you know,
awesome.
the thing is, I did this because, I mean, a whole chicken like round that just hasn't had anything done to it, like a typical standard roast chicken, is not going to go in the air fryer because it's flat. But a lot of air fryers are that way. So I wanted to try this because I figured this would be a cool way to use the air fryer and do roast chicken, which is one of our favorite things to do when I do like the roast chicken or roast game hens, whatever. And I came up with this idea, and then that's what got me thinking about, well, what if we debone the entire chicken so you have an entire plate of just the skin, the fat, and the meat, all the stuff we want to eat, and then I take all the bones and turn them into the sauce, and it's like the chicken makes its own meal, just super easy that way.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to eat, it's very enjoyable, and it's very refined. And it takes a little practice to debone the chicken, but honestly, you guys watching me do it, that was the first time I'd ever done it. And I knew how to do it, but I'd never actually done it. And it took me a few minutes on a couple of those steps, but it really was not that hard. Just take your time, be careful. And after I do it a few times, I'm not gonna have any problems doing it. And it's unbelievable what this lets you do. And the size of that air fryer allowing you to do this is just incredible.
Oh, yeah. It's
Really incredible.
Awesome.
I'd defy anybody to make a chicken that tastes better than this. In fact, if Alex French Guy Cooking is watching, why don't you come to Nashville and let's do a chicken battle. You can do your chicken and I'll do my chicken, and we'll swap, and let's see who's got the best chicken out there, because I have a lot of respect for that man and his cooking, and I would love to see how mine stacks up. Guys, make sure to go tag Alex or find him anywhere on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or any of those various places. Be super kind, because he's an amazing guy and an amazing cook, and I've learned a lot by watching his channel. And just let him know that I'm here and I'm doing stuff and shouting him out, because he's amazing. And make sure to subscribe to him if you haven't, because even if you're not eating the things that he does, it's amazing what you can learn by watching someone who studies cooking as deeply as he does and then apply to a keto or carnivore lifestyle.
I'm clearly Team Chris Cooking Nashville.
Yes, the new merch. That'll be linked down below. If you guys didn't know, we have merch and t-shirts and hats and all kinds of stuff. It looks great. It's fantastic looking stuff.
Very comfortable t-shirts.
Yeah, they're very soft. They're very nice. So guys, go pick up a Chris Cooking Nashville t-shirt if you want. There's a bunch of other ways down there to support the channel. Shout out to the Patreon and the YouTube members and the band. You guys are incredible. We can't do this without any of you guys. And look at this amazing stuff. And by the way, shout out to Typhur for making such incredible pieces of gear. That's going to be linked down below. I have a discount code for you guys. All of that information is going to be linked in the first comment here. It's going to be pinned, as well as the description box. It's all down there for you. I'm telling you, you guys need to go get a Typhur air fryer if you're in the market for one. They are more expensive than other air fryers, but guess what? It is worth every penny, because I've used a bunch of air fryers and I've never had one do what this thing will do. It is absolutely amazing. So guys, go check out the Typhur stuff, and I've got the sous vide there as well that I did the video of, that's linked down below. check out their stuff. They're an amazing company. Go make this recipe. The recipe card for how to do this will be on my website, although it's less of a recipe and more of a technique, so you'll probably need this video to be able to learn how to debone the chicken, but it's all there. Thank you guys for watching and supporting. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. Guys, make sure to eat your meat, especially when it's a whole deboned chicken in an air fryer. Love your life. We're gonna see you guys right here at Chris Cooking Nashville for more incredible roadkill style recipes. Bye, guys.
Can I be your merch model?
You can be my merch
Can I
model
be your
anytime
merch
you
model,
want.
baby? I'm out here supporting.
I've always wanted a hot
here.
woman to wear a t-shirt with my name
Well,
on it.
you're gonna get me instead.
That's exactly what you are.
Whoa!
Don't
flirt
you-
with me. I'm
don't
married,
you-
buddy.
don't you-
I'm
hey,
a married woman. Okay,
listen.
look at this. You see that?
Listen,
Boom.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, I know you're married. I worked hard to make that happen.
I'm glad we're married because when you make chicken like this, I'm really glad I married you.
This is stupidly good.
It is stupidly good.